This your boy right here, J Mac, coming to you with a video. I want to talk about the 2018 Mr. Olympia contest. And I want to congratulate Sean Roden on his victory, dethroning Phil Heath in that contest. It was a very tight contest. It was a good contest. It was very interesting. This year, it was a whole different feel to the whole show. It felt a lot different than in previous years. Of course, it was different, but it just, the whole vibe of the show was, it just felt different, you know. I think next year, you know, Big Ramy, I want to talk about Big Ramy first. You know, he came in, first, he wasn't as impressive, you know, when he first appeared the first night. But the second night he came in, he looked a lot better. He looked at a whole lot better that second night, you know. And I'm happy with all the placings, to be honest with you. All the placings I'm pretty much satisfied with, you know. I pretty much agree with all the placings this year. I think all of them are well-deserved. But honestly, I think not Sean Roden, Ruley Winkler, I think he should have been second, man. I really think he should have been second place because, and a lot of those times he was standing directly beside Phil Heath, and actually, to me, he looked better than Phil Heath. He looked sharper than Phil Heath, you know. Phil Heath's lines just didn't flow as well as it did before, you know. That was one of the things about Phil Heath's physique. It just didn't flow really well this time around. And, you know, he suffered for it, you know. He suffered for it. But, you know, I was thinking, like, after the Friday night, you know, prejudging, I seen Sean Roden, and, you know, I felt like Sean Roden was in the league. Yeah, of course, man. His physique looked amazing, man. Like, looked amazing, you know. Actually, when he did his posing routine last year, when he came out the next night, I think he looked pretty good that night. That was last year, though, Sean Roden. I think he looked pretty good during that posing. But this year, his lines, man, were really nice. It was very crisp lines, and his physique flowed perfectly, you know. And he clearly deserved that win, man. He clearly deserved that win, and I'm very happy for him, you know. I think Phil, you know, he couldn't control his gut when he was up there posing. You could tell he was winded. You know, he was trying to catch his breath, and he was tired out, man. And you know, he didn't come in looking like he said he was gonna come in looking, you know. And you know, he had to. Sean Roden closed his mouth. Let's just say that Sean Roden closed Phil Heath's mouth, you know, and of course, Phil Heath wasn't happy with that win. Of course, he ain't happy with that. I mean, loss. He's not happy with that because, I mean, you can even, they showed a little clip of him walking out, and he had took the silver medal off his head already, you know, from around his neck already. You could tell that, you know, he wasn't a sport with that loss. You know, he wasn't being a sport. You know, and of course, anybody would be upset. You know, you're trying to win your 8th Sandow, and you know this happens. But hey, I mean, Sean Roden was a better man, you know, that night, last night. So, you know, and then like I say, Phil, his lines, man, they just weren't crisp as they normally be, you know. And I feel like Rolly should have placed second place. I really think Rolly should have got second place last night. But everybody, I mean, this is gonna be a big week in bodybuilding right here, man. One of the biggest weeks probably in years, man, in a long time. You know, I don't think people realize, or it hasn't sunk in yet, just how big dethroning Phil Heath really is. You know, that's a big thing, man. People thought this guy was untouchable. I thought this guy was untouchable. You know, I thought could nobody ever dethrone the guy the way it looked. You know, but he came in like he did last year, man. He was less sharper than last year, actually. Phil Heath, his lines and stuff was sharp. He was sharper last year, but his gut was very much extended. It was very much out there last year too, and the same thing happened this year. So, you know, it happens. You know, it happened. Ain't nobody unbeatable. That's one thing about it. No one is unbeatable when it comes to these things. I mean, everybody gonna have their time, and only time will tell next year comes, you know, what's going to be the case. You know, this pretty much opens up the door for all the competitors, like all the top guys, because, you know, a lot of times, a lot of them rotate in and out anyway for conditioning and who's better than who. You know what I mean? It all rotates anyway. So, hey, now it seems like it could be anybody's game, man. Like, honestly. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Sean can't come back in and do it again, which I'm sure he could. But, you know, everybody kind of been in that second spot. You know, Big Rammy's been in that spot. Of course, Sean Rodden has been second place. Dexter Jackson has been second place. William Bonac is very capable of coming in. You know what I'm saying? Right and on point. Rolly. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It's anybody's game now, pretty much. It's anybody's game now. It's anybody's game. And Big Rammy, he can actually win it, too. He can win it, too. So it's like, it's going to be very interesting what happens next year. It's going to be next year's Mr. Olympia is going to be very interesting. Very interesting, very exciting. It's going to be more exciting than it was this year, you know. And when you think about it, like you think about all that, the fact that Sean Roden dethroned Phil Heath, you gotta think back to Kai Green, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that I know Kai, like, somewhere watching it, he probably like, man, Sean did what I couldn't do. Like, he did it. Like, I know he got to be like imagining to himself if he came in, if he wasn't had, you know, came in this year, he possibly could have beat Phil Heath too. But I mean, he also would have had to get through those other competitors too, though. He would have had to get through William Bonac, Sean Rodden, Rolly Winkler, you know, all those top guys too. You know, Big Rammy. Because we don't know where Kai Green stands now at this point in the bodybuilding game. We don't really know where he stands. Not totally. You know what I mean? Because it's been years since he competed in the Olympia contest anyway. So he would have to get through those guys too anyway. Like, if he was to had came and performed this year. You know, if he was to came and enter the contest this year, he would have had to get through those guys. We're not sure if he would have stood up to those guys now in this point in the game. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, next year, he got to be thinking about if he should compete next year too, you know, because he may have a shot. You know, although he probably don't need the money now and all that stuff, because, you know, he pretty much making big bucks, probably touring, and, you know, he got money already, you know, so he don't even really need the money. But just to get that Sandow, you know what I mean? Just to say I won one, you know, that's a huge accomplishment. Even if Sean Rodden doesn't ever win Mr. O again, which I'm sure he probably will win some more. But he really overcame the odds, man. And like they said, his age factor too, you know. I think he said it was 40. He's 43 years old, which he don't look like he's 43. But I didn't know he was 43 years old. But wow, man. That is really something to be told. That's something to be said by that, you know. The fact that he had such a great physique like that, you know. And I just really enjoyed the show, and I know everybody else did too. I don't want to keep going on rambling, but I think it was a really good contest, and it was wonderful. And the win was very satisfying for everyone, you know, I believe. For most people, except, well, of course, Phil Heath and probably his girlfriend. It wasn't as satisfying for them, but, you know, and people got tired of him getting by with having his midsection the way it was, you know. Although he did beat Sean Rodden from the back, you know, he beat him good from the back, you know, he did beat him good. Phil looked sharp from the back poses, but still, you know, I think some people aren't like they're happy that the fact of that whole midsection thing plays a factor in bodybuilding now again. It seems like it plays a factor now again, when once before, it seemed like that wasn't really a determining factor for the Mr. Olympia contest. Like, you got to have a tight midsection, you know. And that is important for those competitors to have tight midsections if they want to be called the best in the world, if they want to be called the top dog in the whole world. You know, you got to have that midsection tight too. And I'm surprised they let Phil get away with it so long, you know. Going the years that he did had a good issue, man. He shouldn't have won those years. You got to be tight all the way, man, if you're going to be Mr. O. You You know, it ain't all about size. You know, it ain't all about who got the biggest muscles and stuff like that, even though he got some crazy muscle parts. And midsection got to be tight, too. I'm glad the judges finally made that a factor this year, you know, instead of overlooking that all the time. That's what a lot of people are very satisfied about. That's what a lot of people are very happy with. The fact that the judges did not overlook that part of the physique, you know. That's just, to me, that's just as important. Because your abs, that's your core, you know, that makes the whole physique flow well, you know, having that nice core, having that tight midsection. That's important in bodybuilding. It's important in fitness, period. And it's something that has been getting overlooked for the past few years when it comes to the Mr. Olympia contest. And, you know, you can hear from the cheers that everybody was happy about that decision. You know, most people was, except the Phil Heath fans, I guess. But, yeah, I kind of figured the judges were going to judge him a little tougher this year anyway because they let him get away with it so long. You know, they were like, this year they probably judge him. They probably judge Phil Heath based on all his previous versions of himself. You know, it was in a lot of ways Phil Heath versus his previous versions. You know what I mean? And the fact that he had to come with a good package this year, and he didn't. You know, he did not come with a great package. He did not come with his best package. He didn't even come with close to his best package. You know, I really liked the 2013 Phil Heath. That version of him I liked a lot. You know, I think that was one of his best versions. And 2016 was actually a really good version of him too. But yeah, I kind of figured they weren't going to be as lenient on him as they were those previous years. He's getting up there, and he was getting up there in the amount of wins he had, you know, the amount of Olympias he was winning. I was like, we're going to judge him a little tougher this year. We're not going to go so easy on Phil Heath like we have in the past. And they really showed that they didn't go easy on him. You know, and you can tell Phil Heath is not happy about that, not happy about that none whatsoever. Because he walked on stage and took that thing off, man, took that sand out off his head. Even though, you know, the competitors walk off stage anyway. But still, like, the way he did it, like, he took that sucker off from around his neck. You know, I'd like to see that NPC interview they did with Phil Heath. I'm pretty sure they did one with him. But they haven't posted yet on YouTube. I'm waiting for that interview to see if they did, you know, talk to him about... You know, of course, they're going to interview him about it anyway. But this been your boy, J-Mac. I just kind of... I want to talk about the Olympia contest, and, you know, congrats to Sean Rodden and Rolly Winkler and all those guys. William Bonac, congrats to all you guys for bringing us a great show. It was very entertaining to watch. Enjoyed every minute of it. It was very awesome. Watching the men's open division, it was very awesome. It was the highlight of the show. This has been your boy right here, J-Mac. Peace out.